Oh, I'm sorry. I can't help but to feel myself. I see you returned to watch another video. And yeah, I know. I'm feeling myself a bit. You might be wondering why. I'll tell you exactly why. The last video got 50 views. That's like that's like more than 10. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty sure I'm the most popular YouTuber in my apartment. Then again, I live in student housing, and everyone in here is probably planning to become doctors, and I'm just here talking to my screen. But that's besides the point. The last video that I had two comments concerning uh, Professor Anya. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I'm not really good with foreign names, like American citizen names are easy. They don't have no syllables in them. It's like Tom, Emily, like, simple stuff. But the lady, or I should say the commenter, wanted me to talk more on the professor who, had those things to say about Queen Elizabeth's passing. So I decided, I'll look into it, and I was able to find a great video from someone who seems a lot more knowledgeable than me on the topic, basically going through her past. And I'm just going to show certain segments from the video. I'll make sure I put the link to the video down below so you can watch the entirety of the video. And we're just going to go ahead and see what else there is about this professor that seems to be so controversial at the time. All right, let's go. I'll start off by saying this brother definitely has his opinions on the topic or on the professor already. And he definitely seems passionate on the topic. But, my Nigerian friends, you might want to maybe, I don't know, watch. I guess we'll just go into it. All right, so this is the trend on Twitter where Ivy basically asked Professor Anya about her using the word akata, which is Yoruba and means, I believe it was wild animal, and how the professor used that term to describe African Americans. And we're just going to watch a little bit of this rundown.
Surprised to see it is that because that's why I asked. I didn't want to assume your intention. Do you think it matters how the group of people you referred to feel about that term? She says, Arita Bakata, derogatory, you say, accepts the premise.
We're up here in case you're wondering.
So to say that someone is descended from enslaved Africans, you say, it is absolutely no shame or disgrace to be a child of the enslaved. Shame lies with the captors and enslavers, and to those who sold them. Shame lies with you too. This is why you can't get your act together in Nigeria too. Let's call it what it is. Because you curse with a curse too. That you ain't made right. I'm going to say it. You say, plus, why would I insult myself? So then the woman says, well, a term for descendants of enslaved Africans wouldn't be derogatory. So the issue is that the term translates to wild animal in Europe.
Yeah, and the interesting about this is I do believe the professor is also born in Nigeria. I would assume she knows a bit of Yoruba, which is like the traditional dialect or language within Nigeria. So she's basically saying, I'm sure you're aware of what the term originally means, and if it means wild animals, why are you referring to African Americans in this term? And that's what really is the basis for the start of this trend.
She said, I'm not familiar with the dictionary translation, nor aware anyone used this so. For 30 plus years, I've known it was a term for U.S. blacks. They sometimes used derisively by Africans who seek to distinguish themselves as not descended from the enslaved. It said, I'm not that group, nor use it that way. So they clearly do not want to be associated with black Americans. Because in their mind, I'm not no freaking slave. I didn't come from no slave. Yeah, because you come from people that sold black people.
So one of the points that the guy talking in this video makes a lot is African Americans, and in his opinion, specifically those from Nigeria, don't really want to associate with African Americans. They view them almost like two different groups of people. And his point that he's trying to bring is that Professor Anya is placing herself above African Americans, saying that African Americans, are this and that, and I'm not associating myself with that. And that's what this guy is very passionate about, saying, how can you be saying these things but want, like unity between African Americans and Africans, and basically calling her like a hypocrite for the most part. So let's keep watching.
You the one sold us. Your ancestors. That's why you clearly have an issue with being affiliated with the black American people here. That's your problem. Because y'all was heavy into the slave trade. You was trading African people for forks, for mirrors, for alcohol, rum in particular, guns. This is what you were trading to the white man for. The white man ain't go in there and snatch every one of you. But see, this is the thing. After the white man traded all that stuff with you, he came right back in there and snatched a lot of your people up too. Even the people that was helping him capture slaves, he put them right in there too. That's why when you say king and queen, they laugh at you, because they had these so-called kings, and they went grab them up too and put them in slavery. If you want to know the history. So then Ivy continues, say, fair enough, to say, I don't know what it meant either initially, but I asked my mom at some point, we're not Europe. It said, but if you look it up, that's what it means. Anyway, hope you have a good rest of the day. Thanks for engaging with me on this. Thanks for challenging me on the perception of disdain for others. I surely did not intend to communicate. I appreciate your approach, as a respectful approach and sincere desire, to understand where I was coming from instead of automatically assuming my ill will. Have a wonderful day.
So as we go into this video, the guy is gonna basically show up constant things in her past where she basically uses that word in a way to paint a negative image, which he really gets upset about, basically saying she lied and she intentionally used it to portray African Americans in a certain way.
But then another way she talks here, because she has an issue with black Americans being the standard of blackness. Let me tell you something, Uju. Let me tell you right now. Anywhere in the world, we are the standard of blackness. Everywhere.
That's true though. Every country that I'm sure there's black people in every country, but I would say a lot of styles, fashion, music, trends, culture are mimicked from those in mainstream, black culture, hip hop, fashion, obviously, and even through some of the stuff I watch, I feel like if you took, a black person from the UK minus the accent and put them in the US, I feel like you wouldn't even be able to tell they were born in the UK, in my opinion. Obviously, there'd be small changes and differences between, but I think that's a very good point he brings up.
We go. Black Americans are hella respected. You know why? Because we didn't lay down and not fight back. We always stood up. We fought and we died. Matter of fact, black Americans are more respected throughout the world than Nigerians are, if you want me to keep it real.
You see, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that statement in particular, I believe Nigerians are the most successful group of black people in the United States. I might be wrong, but I believe that's the last thing I read, that the most successful black people in the U.S. are Nigerians. They're the doctors and engineers and all that stuff, which I think is totally possible. With all the friends I've had who came from Nigeria, some very smart and hardworking people. So if he's talking about Nigerians specifically, I think that might be wrong. I think in most stats, when you compare them to, I guess you could say, an African American born in the United States, I think Nigerians usually are on top. But let's see what else he's saying.
Black Americans are hella respected. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call it what it is. I've been on the African continent. Do you know what everybody say about Nigerians on the African continent?
This is where if you're Nigerian, you might want to plug your ears up.
They call, I'm just, y'all know, people that been know what I'm talking about. They call you criminals, they call you drug dealers, they call you scammers, they say you human traffic. Everywhere I go, they talk bad about you. But you come over here to America, and we don't even treat y'all like that over here as black Americans. We see your name, say, oh, where you from, brother? Where you from, sister? Oh, man, tell me about what's going on in Nigeria. We get hit. As
someone from Cameroon who came to the United States, when people see my last name, they're not like, oh my gosh, you're from... All right, they assume I'm from somewhere. But they're not like, oh, wow, how's Africa? Is it nice? You know, where do you live? You could think of all the stereotypical things they say. Like, it's annoying. So this part is not really something I experienced, at least yet, depending on how mature the group of people you're around are. But I think I see what he's trying to say.
Hell interested, because we want to know. And then when you coming, some of you coming over here and got this disdain and hate for black America. When you know good and well on the African continent, you are the one that everybody don't want in their country. South Africans don't want Nigerians over there. Kenyans, matter of fact, who was it? Wode Maya almost got himself jammed up in Kenya because they thought he was a freaking Nigerian.
Imagine almost getting locked up. You go to a country and they think you're Nigerian, so they lock you up. But I guess there's more going on back in Mother Africa than I knew going on. I thought Nigerians were the ones that were popping. They're the one making, you know, the Afro beats. They're the one making all the music, you know. Yeah. Let me not sing. But I guess I didn't know all that.
You don't hear black Americans showing up to any African country like, oh my God, the black Americans coming over here, let's kick them out. You don't hear that crap. How dare you come over here to the country that we fought for and the country we built, and then you're going to look down on us.
Alright, let's go on to the next part that I think is important in this conversation.
And after black folks was getting on her, and after and that's right, press her, they calling her college right now, they're trying to get her out of there, which I support that 100%. Go your behind back to Nigeria and go over there to the University of Lagos or something. Go teach over there since we accosted so much. You want to come lay yourself up in this country, in the country black Americans have built from scratch and innovated. You want to come over here, eat good, and dealing with all kind of things that we.
Yo, we eat good in Africa too. Like, not too much now, my guy. It's not too much. That jollof rice, come on.
You know what I'm saying? They want to call us a kata. So then this what she say. Look at this. Statement regarding my past use of the word akata. First, I apologize for the offense and hurt I caused. No, you only got caught. Perceptions, reality, impact outweighs intent. So although I did not use the word with any intent to slur African Americans, that is what I ultimately did. Female. Why are you freaking lying when the
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely one of those situations where it looked like you got caught and now you're trying to make up for it.
This one just said, I thought this was a year return. NEPA couldn't bring small light even for a kata. No shade, the good sis. However, a kata needs to quit with these. You kept calling us a kata.
Which means wild animal in Yoruba, apparently.
You kept calling us freaking that. So stop. This is why some of them are angry and say don't call me African. This is why. Not because they hate the people. It's because they have not made it right either. And they can make it right without even spending a dime. See, the white supremacists owe money. And some people have been arguing that West Africa owe money too. But I'm not even going there because I know the way it is. No, that ain't going to happen with them. But the least you can do is give a citizenship. That costs you nothing but paperwork.
Giving every African American or every black person in the world citizenship to a country in Africa, how would that work? You know, like,
That's the least you can do. Not making somebody wait 7, 10 years. Then you say, well, Ghana has a right to abode. Man, F that. If you are a black American if you're a black UK, if you're a black Canadian, or any place like that, you should be able to go to any of those countries and get you a freaking citizenship. Your countries will actually get helped a lot faster if you just open up the door to the diaspora and say, come on back home for real, for real. Because when you say, oh, come back to your return, and you don't give nobody a key, then all you did was calling us to come and spend money and visit. That's like telling my children to come home, and they come home, but when I close the door behind them when they leave or whatever, they don't have a key. They can't come back unless I let them in. That year return would have been hella successful if all those people showed up, those black Americans that actually wanted citizenship, would have gotten one.
I know a lot of people here in the U.S., African Americans that like, I wish I was African. I wish I lived in Africa. I want to go to Africa. You know what I'm saying? This would be an interesting thing to see if they would follow through, get their citizenship, hop on a plane, and go to Zimbabwe, see how long they stay there at Madagascar. That's an interesting idea. I feel like, yeah, if more people were citizens there from like other countries, I don't know, would it help the country out? Would it not? Because now they're bringing, different values, cultures, religions. Because in a lot of countries, in Africa specifically, where they have strong religious values, like there's a strong Muslim population in, I'm trying to remember, I believe Morocco, and they follow a lot of the rules and statements that are in the the Quran. So I'm hoping that's the correct book. If it's the wrong one, please forgive me. So for instance, like if a woman were to go, over to a country like that, and now she has to cover up more, maybe she's like, maybe this isn't the country for me or whatever. But to speak specifically on the professor, yeah, I think she was definitely like dissing on the low, but got caught, and now she's trying to spin back from it. It's unfortunate. It's like we can't all move together until we're united, which is the unfortunate part, because uniting a large group of people is very hard to do. All right, guys. So what do you think about this professor? Do you think she's been allowed to get away with too much? Do you think people are reaching? Do you think she's protected by the First Amendment? Is her freedom of speech? Comment down below. Let me know, and always drop down topics you think I should look into, and we could always come to the verdict. So tell me below, what do you think the verdict of this video is? Should she be, put on leave? Should she be fired? Do you think she didn't say anything that was too out of line? And stay tuned for next video.